Here's something that will surprise you. Studies show that over 70% of people who quit their jobs for better opportunities report feeling the exact same dissatisfaction within 6 months. Same heaviness, same dread on Sunday nights, different company name on the paycheck. And I'm about to show you exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to fix it, so you never waste another year of your life grinding through days that feel like walking through fog. Because here's what's really going on. You don't hate your job. You're disconnected from your life. And there's a massive difference between those two things. Let me explain what I mean. Think about the last time you drove home from work and couldn't remember the actual drive. You were on autopilot. Your hands turned the wheel, your foot hit the brakes, you made every turn perfectly, but your mind was somewhere else entirely. That's what emotional disconnection feels like, except it's not just your commute, it's your entire life. You wake up, you go to work, you stay responsible, you do what you're supposed to do. From the outside, everything looks fine. Your boss isn't complaining, your bills are paid, your life checks all the boxes. But something feels off. Not empty enough to panic, not painful enough to change, just dull, like you're living life through a screen instead of actually being in it. And here's the tricky part. You're not sad, you're not depressed, you're just not fully there. You move through your days completing tasks, finishing work, replying to messages, but none of it really lands. Life feels flat. Time passes, but nothing sticks. It's like eating a meal and not tasting any of it. You're full, technically nourished, but completely unsatisfied. Because it's quiet, not painful, most people ignore it. They tell themselves, this is just adulthood. This is how life works. This is normal. But here's the thing. Normal doesn't mean healthy. A lot of people are sleepwalking through their lives, and just because everyone's doing it doesn't make it okay. So what do most people do when this feeling shows up? They blame their job. They say, I hate my work. I chose the wrong career. I need a new job. And sometimes, yes, the job is part of the problem, but very often it's not the root. Because even when people change jobs, the feeling follows them. New role, new company, same heaviness. It's like being in a dark room and blaming the furniture for why you keep bumping into things. You can rearrange the furniture all you want. You can buy new furniture. But until you turn on the light, you're still going to keep stumbling. The light is connection. Connection to yourself, to your values, to where your life is actually going. Here's what's really happening. Work feels unbearable when it has no emotional meaning. Not purpose in a big, dramatic, save-the-world sense, just connection. When you don't feel connected to yourself, every task feels pointless. You're not tired of effort. You're tired of effort that doesn't mean anything. Think of it like running on a treadmill versus running towards something you care about. Same physical effort, completely different experience. On a treadmill, every step feels exhausting because you're moving but going nowhere. Running towards something real, you barely notice the effort because the movement has meaning. So what do people do? They push. They force discipline. They rely on willpower, and it works for a while. You can white-knuckle your way through days, weeks, maybe even months. But willpower is short-term fuel. It gets you through days, not years. Eventually, you run out, and then you think something's wrong with you. Here's the dangerous part. Disconnection doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. You're still functioning, still productive, still doing fine. So there's no urgency to change. You tell yourself, I'll figure it out later. Things will make sense eventually. This phase will pass. And that feels safe. But staying emotionally disconnected slowly drains you. Not enough to break you, just enough to numb you. It's like a slow leak in a tire. You can keep driving, the car still runs, but you're losing pressure constantly. And one day you look down and realize you've been running on empty for months. This is why all that motivation advice rarely works. Wake up earlier, work harder, stay disciplined, set bigger goals. None of that fixes disconnection because motivation doesn't create meaning. You can be highly motivated and still feel empty. You can be the most disciplined person in the room and still feel lost. Motivation helps you move, but connection gives movement a reason. So what's the shift? What actually changes this? The shift isn't about quitting your job or finding your passion or making some dramatic life change. It's quieter than that. It starts with asking yourself one honest question. Where am I emotionally checked out in my life? Not just work, your routine, your goals, your relationships, your sense of direction. Disconnection usually shows up where you stopped listening to yourself, where you chose responsibility over alignment for too long, where you started doing what you're supposed to do instead of what felt true. And reconnection doesn't happen through big decisions. It happens through small, honest ones. Doing things that feel true, not impressive. Choosing directions that feel right, not safe. Not overnight, not perfectly, but intentionally. It's like warming up a cold house. You don't fix it all at once. You turn on one heater, then another. Small adjustments, gradual warmth, until one day you realize you're not freezing anymore. And as connection returns, work feels different. Not easier, but clearer. Effort stops feeling pointless. Resistance weakens. Momentum builds naturally. Because now you're not just going through the motions, you're actually living. So if you feel unhappy at work, don't immediately assume something is wrong with you. You're probably not lazy. You're not broken. You're not failing at life. You're disconnected. And the solution isn't more motivation. It's not another productivity system. It's not a new job title. It's reconnection to yourself, to meaning, to direction. Because when you reconnect with your life, work stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like part of something real. And that changes everything.